Hello. Today I have my exercise 4 code to grab all the contributions in the file and output the results that we get. So I have my public static void main string, and then it's going to throw file not found exception if it can't find the file. Below I have all my variables. I have my contributions total, which is the variable that will collect all of the money from the contributions, and it will track when the amount of the contributions reaches 10 million. Below that I have biggest contribution, which is what I use to take the biggest single contribution. Below that I have smallest contribution, which takes the smallest contribution. Below I have num contributions to track the amount, to track the number of contributions that was given. And then below that I have user contribution to store to store each contribution that is in the file. Below I have my file input stream and my scanner for the file input stream. And then I have my file output stream and my print writer for the file output stream so it can write, and then the scanners so it can read. And below that, I just have a system notification that it's opening the input file. And then below that, I have my file byte stream, new file input stream, and this is what opens the contributions file to read all of it. Then below that, I have my while loop. I have contributions total is less than 10 million, and the scanner for the input has its next variable, its next double. Below that I have user contribution nfs.nextDouble. This is what reads each value from the file. And then below that I have num contributions plus plus to add 1 to the number of contributions given. And then below that I have contributions plus equals user contribution. This is what adds each single contribution to the total amount of contributions, which will eventually reach 10 million. Below that I have my first if statement, which is if user contribution is less than the smallest contribution, or num contributions equals 1. This is to make sure that it won't stay at 0, and it'll update with the first contribution that's given. And then this is how it tracks the smallest contribution that's given. I close that, and then below that I have my next if statement, which is user contribution is bigger than the biggest contribution. It will update that to the biggest contribution. Below that I have it closing the input file, and then I put my file byte stream again, and then eventually I'll put nfs.close down here. And then next I have if contributions total is less than 10 million. So this is after it's read everything in the file and it hasn't reached 10 million. That's why I have the and up here, so that if, say, it reads all the inputs uh, in the program, but the amount of inputs that are given doesn't reach the 10 million, it will print this message that says, warning, the total amount of contributions is not enough to reach the goal of 10 million. Please update the contributions, then try again. And then I close that, and then below that I initiate my average contribution variable. And then I have average contribution equals contributions total divided by num contributions. So it grabs the average of all the contributions. And below that I have my file output stream and my outfs to print, so for my print writer. And then I have all of it down here to print into my results file up here, which is the total amount of contributions needed to reach goal, and then plus num contributions, that shows the amount of contributions. The amount of the biggest single contribution, and then it shows the biggest contribution, and then the amount of the smallest single contribution was, and then it shows smallest contribution, and then the average amount of every contribution was, and then average contribution, and then it closes the output file. So I have a little test set up here. So let me just, oh, okay, yeah. So I have my set here. I'm gonna run it. It opens and then closes. So if we go to the results here, it'll say replace. Say yes, and it says 11, which is right. I have 11 lines. And then it says 2 million was the biggest, which it was right here. And then it says 250,000 was the smallest, which it was right here. And then it shows the average, which if you do the math, that is the correct average. And then like, let's say, so we can test that warning, let's say I just delete all this and just have one contribution in there. And we go and let's make sure to save the input file. And then we go here and we run it again. It will show warning, the amount of contributions is not enough to reach the goal.